Hello and welcome back to Rocket Pod, the brand new podcast where we're deconstructing visionary stories and sharing them with you guys, our listeners at home. My name is Harry Damon, alongside me is James Cuss and producer Peter Haynes. For today's episode, I'm very excited to introduce our guest, the UK's #1 motivational business speaker, Mr. Brad Burton. I think that's all the introduction he's going to need, so I think we should get this episode going. Good morning, Brad. Please could you first of all set the scene for us? Share with our audience what it was like for you growing up.
All right, so I was born in 1973, so that makes me 47 as of today. Brought up in a working class environment over in Salford, Manchester. My dad left when I was 6 months old. My mum brought me up as a single parent all those years, and I effectively left school with no qualifications, went on a YTS training course, got a job in retail, and actually I managed to blag myself a job as a computer games reviewer, and I ended up getting like the dream job. That's like the second best job in the world, it really is. And so I got that dream job, and I ended up on the program back in the 90s called Games Master. I was a games reviewer and one of the co-commentators for the gaming challenges. So those people from that era will recognise that. And then look, things changed for me. I got 2 bullets put through my window over in Manchester back in 1995, which caused me to move away from Manchester and start again in a place called Weston-super-Mare.
So I read a little bit about how you moved home, I think 14 times between the age of 8 and 14. Would you be able to share with the audience some lessons that you maybe learned from this?
Yeah, that I wanted roots. I wanted a place to belong, a place to stay, a place to stick, and that's something that had kind of been eluded me throughout my childhood. And it wasn't any from my mum's perspective. She was actually doing the right thing every single time she made that decision, even though I didn't see it at the time. Looking it back at it, absolutely 100% the right thing to do. And I think what I've learned from that, like I say, is that unless you're a surfer, you kind of need to somewhere along the way to put roots down. And I think that was the thing that always eluded me. And that was the thing that I kind of, if I look back throughout the threads of my life, is that's what I've tried to effectively create with my network and my business and my home and my family.
So you just mentioned your business and your network. In 2006, you launched 4Networking. Would you be able to share with our audience maybe a little bit more about this company and what inspired you to launch it?
So I started 4Networking in political terms. For those people who don't know, 4Networking was a business networking organisation. And I say it was because it existed for 14 years prior to COVID. Now it's changed and we'll get to that in a second. However, when I first started my business off in 2004, I walked out of a job December the 16th, 2004, told my employer to shove the job up the backside and walked. And it was a wonderfully liberating experience. It really was. For those 3 hours whilst I drove home. I'm married and I arrived home and my wife was not happy with that decision. She was furious. I was 25 grand in debt, no idea what the fuck I was going to do apart from running a business. And she started crying. She said, "You're going to ruin this family on your insistence on starting a business off." And it's at times like that when you've got to make a decision. And actually to go back to where you once was, which is safe and normal, or to plough on. I chose to plough on. Started my own business off, marketing business, and we did a year of that. 26 grand turnover first year, 46,000 halfway through the second year. But then I landed on this networking stuff. So I went to networking events, business networking events, and there was, best way to describe it in one word, dusty, right? You know, just like up their own arse, self-serving, no real give a shit about members. And it was just a culture of business first, business at any cost, you know, always be selling, just shit like that. And it's like, that's not what I'm about. I'm actually about putting people before business. You get the people bit right, the business follows. And a lot of these networks are about getting the business first, and then the people bit follows. And I just looked at it and turned it on its head. So in political terms, you had the loony left of networking, where nothing quite happens. Chablis Volivant's lady with the, talking about the parking provision in the local town centre. They're increasing it from £3.50 to £3.75, and the people are in uproar. Just bullshit, And I went along there, and it's just like, you're wasting 90 minutes of your life. Then you had the hardcore right of networking. Where's your leads? Where's your referrals? You have to attend. And I'm thinking, where is the mainstream of networking? And it never existed. And I'm going, why doesn't it exist? I don't understand. That doesn't appeal to me, the left hand. The right hand doesn't appeal to me. Where was the mainstream? It didn't exist. And I'm scratching my head going, I don't understand why not. And that was it. I started 4Networking back in the day, February 16, 2006. It was 50% social, 50% business, and it works. That was the tagline. Think about that. 50% social, 50% business, and it works. Back in 2006. This is before social media, right? I was on this social media shit before it was even a thing. Like, think about it. Everyone said, oh, you can't do it like that. It's got to be 80% business, 20% social. I'm going, if I don't like the seller, it ain't going any fucking where. So you're kidding yourself. So what we did with 4Networking is we created this culture which allowed people to get business appointments. Every single business needs appointments. An appointment is sitting down in front of somebody and telling them about your products and services. So I needed them. Everyone that I met needed them. I'm thinking, why don't we all just meet in a room and then arrange the appointments? And that's what we did. So we've got this unique format with 4Networking that no one else has got, which you have 40-second overview around the table, 20, 30 people in the room. And then what happens is we then have a foresight, which is an insight, not a sales pitch. Once again, moving away from sales pitches. At these networking events, I went along to one of them, and this guy's talking about Windows, selling Windows. Like, this is 10 millimeter, you can get 15 million, you can get it with what the fuck's going on? Like, most boring time ever. And then 20 minutes of listening to this guy chirp on about fucking Windows. Any questions? And some dickhead goes, he doesn't not interested. Nigel, can you get them in 17 million with a wood finish? Fuck's sakes. And I'm just like, what is going on? This is bullshit. I don't want to hear the sales pitch. So if I don't want to hear it, nobody else does. So we looked at it and I said, okay, inside not a sales pitch, so therefore you give education. Then afterwards, after you heard everyone's 40 seconds, you think, you know what, I wouldn't mind speaking to Flexi. So then we break for a coffee and I go up to you and say, Flexi, can we have a number 1, 2, or 3? Yeah, number 1, please, Brad. I swap my card with you for number 1, you give me yours, and now we get rid of number 2 and 3. Then we have 3 10-minute appointments in group time. That's the simplicity of it. But the differences between 4Networking and any other network, again, and this is where that innovation comes from, is that most networks are solitary affairs. So effectively, you go to Shadwell Group every single Friday. You see the same people, boom, boom. With 4Networking, it's like the internet. You can go to any group around the UK who's running 5,000. So as a member, you don't join Shadwell, you join the network. So you can go to Manchester, Cornwall, Scotland, anywhere you want. Every single day there's a meeting running. You can do 3 meetings a day. I've done it morning, boom, 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 with 4Networking. So we created this kind of network within a network, and nobody'd ever done that. So that was a long answer, wasn't it? But in essence, it was about creating something different in a space that was clearly vacant.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you saw a need. Well, there was clearly a need and something that was lacking, and you found a really fun solution.
I needed it for my business. Yeah, well, I needed it for my business. I'm sat here, I'm Mancunian over in Somerset. I don't know anyone. How the fuck was I supposed to meet people? So, and that's a challenge that faces every single individual. I can guarantee there's a whole lot more people right now on 4Networking online waiting to do business with other people than there is waiting for the phone to ring right now. And this is what we've had to cultivate it now. We'll get to it in a second. But in essence, we've had to take that offline network online, which is exactly what we've done as a result of COVID.
What you said, just going back a little bit, you talked about the need to create your own social network, that support network. Could you talk a little bit about the journey of networks that you fostered, throughout your journey? So, are they the same back then as they are now, or?
I get it. So great question. So real terms, I would say go straight onto the Facebook and 4Networking community. We've got a community with 30,000 people on there. They're like-minded, no question about that. So this is the thing, let's go back 16 years of whenever I started, there was none of this shit. So you had to create it. There was no networks, there was no social media network, going on what was it called, the Microsoft Music one, but MySpace. There was no social networks as we know it now. But right now, it's a gift because you look at this lockdown, you can create anything. Right now, I'm speaking to 3 individuals that we've never met before from around the UK, using technology. This is a gift to any business right now. You don't have the same barriers to entry that we did. So back in the day, right now, first thing I'll do, Facebook, 4Networking, go on there and just go and introduce yourself. Simple as that. I run my own support network as well outside of 4Networking. We can get to that if you want as well. But that this whole thing is that there is no cavalry unless you create it. There's no perfect social media, social network unless you create that social network. Within that social network, people go, oh, I don't like this group. Well, fuck off then. Don't waste my life telling me you don't like the group. Just go. What do you want me to do to change the group? And this is the thing, is that you're never going to get a situation, a network that fits for everyone, ever. So therefore, you've got to create your own network within a network.
Okay.
No.
So as far as your vision, so when you left Manchester, which must have been it's a huge transition because that's what you knew and that's where you grew up. But your vision was to create a new life. There was obviously an event with the shooting.
No. See, here's the thing. Let me explain. Right? It wasn't. This is the thing. Back then, I'm 47 now. Back then, I was a 22-year-old lad or whatever. I didn't have any vision. All I did was about fucking eating, shagging, drinking, doing drugs. There was no medium, long-term vision. I'd be lying to you to go, oh, yeah, what it was going to... No. There was none of that. It was survival from day to day. See, the thing is, you cannot be entrepreneurial when you're in survival mode. Right? So I'll give you an example. You're just about to sign a deal for a $10 million deal, and then I run at you with a knife, right? Your priority is no longer signing that deal. Your priority is now surviving yourself from my knife attack. Right? It's a bit strong, but the point I'm making is that you cannot be entrepreneurial while you're in survival mode. And this is the problem that people get. They get themselves in this mindset. They go and watch a fucking Grant Cardone video. The next thing, even though they're in a survival mindset, the next thing they think they're going to be, it's all wrong. So going back to that time.
Okay, so your transition from Manchester was kind of a cause and effect. So there was a situation which you had to get out and start a new life, but you weren't looking for. You didn't picture a new life. You just knew you had to get out and change. And then the social networking.
Absolutely.
And then by making that move, so you actually made a move to then initiate the new network or friends, and you kind of, because you kind of made your own luck.
6 year difference.
Yeah, because you've kind of made your own luck. You've taken an action, which was to move from Manchester.
Correct.
So you started with a clean slate, and then you've worked your ass off to create the social support network. Or initially, it was just probably basic support, and whether you were drinking, shagging, whatever. That was what you were doing at that time in your life, and that's normal.
Well, considering young, yeah.
So can you talk a little about creating? So do you believe in luck, for example?
People say I got lucky. People say I got lucky, and you think 3 times, that ain't luck, that's decisions, right? Fundamentally, every single day, and this is proven, we make 30,000 decisions every single day. 30,000 decisions. How many of them, if I asked you a second ago to write down how many decisions you make a day, I bet nobody would write 30,000. People might say 500. So what happens to those 29,500 decisions? That a default programming just kicks in. Now, this is where I work on, now this is from a mindset perspective, as I make certain that all those 30,000 decisions are the right ones. So, when you think about, from a luck perspective, you're faced with a decision, unless you do the national lottery and you win that. Once again, you've made a decision. You made a decision to go and buy the tickets. I don't do it, so therefore I'm never winning. So therefore, if somebody wins it, is that luck, or have they got more chance for it? So from a luck perspective, there's always going to be times when luck fortunes you. When you're walking along, you find a £20 note, whatever. There's always going to be times like that. But in the round I don't think it's a strategy that'll work. If you're relying on luck to get you to where you want to be, not a chance. No way. It's decisions, lots of micro decisions. So here's the thing: these motivational speakers tell you to take massive action. Take massive action. Well, actually, it's bullshit. Let me explain what you need to do. Take passive action. It is those 30,000 decisions every single day that you make that are going to get you to where you need to be. And so many people believe it's just one clever play that is going to do everything that you need. Some top rope Hulk Hogan shit that is going to turn your life around. It's not. It's thousands of decisions each and every day.
I'd like to take this moment to introduce to you our sponsor, Flexi, the must-have app to track and manage your subscriptions in one place. So most of us have multiple subscriptions nowadays for things like streaming services, gym memberships and food deliveries. These are great and take the hassle out of buying everyday products that we consume regularly, but it can be hard to keep track of them. That's where Flexi comes in handy, using super secure technology to connect your accounts to see all your subscriptions in a single dashboard, putting you in control of your spending. And what's more, Flexi's subscription marketplace allows you to discover new products you may love, all easy to pause, resume, or cancel in a swipe or two. So give Flexi a try. It's free to download from the App Store, or check out their website at www.flexyapp.uk. That's FLEXY app.uk. Back to the podcast. So Brad, I wanted to touch on the subject of giving up, of quitting. Now, would you be able to share with the audience if you've maybe had any experience of this, of wanting to quit, of wanting to give up? And if this is the case, what stopped you? What motivated you to keep going? So,
I'm going to show you guys something now. This has just come off my office wall at 4Networking. This is me and my chairman, and that is on November the 14th, 2012. That's me wanting to quit. That's me saying to my chairman, I quit. I've wanted to quit. I've been in business now with 4Networking 14 years. In the first 9 years of 4Networking, I wanted to quit 11 times. So that's 1.1 on average, Manchester maths, in the first 9 years. In the last 5 years, I've wanted to quit 0 times. That says it all. So many people, right? 1.1 times every single year for the first 9 years. And at any time, if I would have quit, I wouldn't have realised the reality that I live in at the moment. So when it comes to quitting, what I say to people is this: imagine that you're writing a book, and you're halfway through this book, and that book is your book, and you are writing chapters, and you write to yourself, this is not how this story ends. So you're halfway through the book, this is not how this story ends. And I want you to do a one-line synopsis on the final chapter as to how your story ends. And then you ask yourself the question, how does that chief player from chapter 7 get to where he wants to be, to the chapter 14? And that's how I run my life. So when it comes to quitting, which I, like I say, I'm being honest about it, you've got to ask yourself a question. Why did you start? Right? Why did you start? Because actually, if it was easy, every fucker would be doing it. That's a great thing about this, is that it's not so people can go and copy 4Networking, the format. Now, it'll take 2 minutes. I can go and give it you now. I can go online and go and get the format and everything. Go and copy the website, call it 5Networking. It's got to be better. And people are missing. It's not that. Is that, I could go and get a fucking Jamie Oliver with a kitchen there and all the ingredients, and I could have a kitchen here and all the ingredients, and I could watch the way he does it. And then my soufflés come out 2 hours later. Mine's like a piece of shit. His looks amazing. Why? When we've got the same kit, we've got the same ingredients. The difference is the recipe. But also the other thing that people miss is experience. Experience. And that's the thing that keeps you going. Experience. Ask yourself this question: what have you learned from this? See, I'm a motivational speaker. I speak in front of audiences thousands of times. Literally. And there's been occasions when I've died in front of an audience, 200, 300, 400 people. And I've died 5-6 years ago was the last time. And I remember in front of 200 people dying. And it's like, what's going on here? You've done this a million times, but for whatever reason, it's just not gelling. And some people, when they die as a speaker, would go, I am never doing that again. I asked myself this question: what did I like best about it? What would I do next time? I learned from that. And that's where people that's why people fuck it up, because they don't learn from the mistakes and they don't go, okay, this allows me to move forward. And that's, for me, when it comes to quitting, that's what you've got to ask yourself a question. Why are you quitting? Is it quitting because you're fearful, you're tired, or you don't believe that you can make this happen? And actually, my chairman, that picture I've just shown you there, he said to me at the time, and that was the last time I ever wanted to quit, he said to me at the time, he said, do you trust me? I said, yeah. He said, how much? I said, 100%. He said, right, you ain't fucking quitting. He says, I'm telling you right now, you ain't quitting. He said, you've come far too long to this one. We ain't quitting. We owe it to all those members, those thousands of members. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to write it down now, date in the diary. And in 6 months' time, if you still feel like quitting, we'll quit. What do you say? Done. High five. That was brilliant. 8 years ago.
That's a really good example as well of someone in your net, someone that's really supportive. Because you could, he could see. Obviously, he believed in you, and he helped you that day.
But so, if he'd not had that conversation, or he'd have said, "Yeah, time to quit," we wouldn't be having this conversation now. Mental, small innocuous decision, seemingly.
So I've got another question for you. So you covered earlier on, you talked about survival. And, when you're in survival mode, you're not looking at, starting a business or whatever. Yeah. So how do you transition? And we also talked about the fact that we make 30,000 decisions a day, and every little decision, the decisions that are easy to do, but also easy not to do, are really, really important. And that compound effect kind of creates your own luck. So how do you go from survival mode? So was there a particular moment from the survival situation you were in when you moved from Manchester to developing that growth mindset? Because for those listeners out there that are in that survival mode situation, how do was there one definitive moment, or how did you develop that mindset?
So I delivered pizzas at 31 years old to keep my business afloat. That's a reality of it. And actually, when you see on The Apprentice, I'll do anything, Lord Sugar. I'll do anything, Lord Sugar, to get, well, go and deliver fucking pizzas for 3 years. Will you do that? Well, no. Right, so you won't do anything. What will you do? And this is the thing. You need to get out of survival mode. So the way that you're going to get out of survival mode is by doing the things you don't want to do. In my case, delivering pizzas. Right? In my case, delivering pizzas. In your case, it might be waiting tables. Whatever it takes to get yourself out of that. And if you're not prepared to do that, let me explain. If I'd not delivered pizzas, there'd be no 4Networking. That's the reality of it, because the pressure from the wife to go and get a proper job was just disproportionate. So therefore, there was a halfway house, which if I delivered pizzas, I could continue my dream and vision of starting a business off. So how do you get, where the growth mindset came from was when I realised I wrote this book, now Life Business Just Got Easier. That picture that I just shown you, I was having a nervous breakdown. I had a nervous breakdown. Like literally everything that could go wrong in my life was home, business, legals, money, team, the fucking lot. Right? My life was like a game of Jenga. It was just like big tower, wobbly tower of success. One brick, and the whole fucking thing gone. And I realised then, Life Business Just Got Easier, which I wrote, that something had to change. And actually, that change needed to get itself off this fucking stupid hamster wheel of bullshit, fucking money. Make a load of money and you'll be happy. Go and get a fucking Ferrari, you'll be happy. Go and get a Lamborghini, you'll be happy. Now, don't get me wrong, money, I would rather more than less. However, there comes a point when it starts becoming, it doubles back on itself. I've got friends of mine with 20 supercars, 20 fucking supercars, right? 20. And actually, I promise you, he would swap my happiness with his today. Because somewhere along the way, I realised that actually people get it mixed up. You see fucking idiots getting out of cars with Lamborghinis and suicide doors at 27 on Facebook advertisements and go, oh, I want to be that guy. Well, I promise you, that is not where happiness resides. So first and foremost, stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop looking at fucking squad goals on fucking £30,000 Seamaster watches right now, whilst at the moment you're struggling to pay your rent. And actually what you need to do is find your level. But if I'm going to the bottom of the stairs in my house here, if I start on stair 1 and I've got to get to stair 35 in my house, it's a joke, right? But start on stair 1, right? And I've got to get to stair 12. Is there a way for me to jump from the bottom to the top? No. I could probably jump, and guess what would happen? I'd get bruised fucking knees. I might get 3 or 4 stairs up, but I'd get bruised my knees. That's the problem with today's society. That's what everyone wants. Everyone wants a quick fix. Nobody wants to say, hey, guess what? It takes 14 years to then have your business fucking thrown in the bin because of COVID. Nobody wants that. What they want to do is go on some stupid fucking course for 10 grand and actually have fucking 10 modules for 10 hours and believe that somehow that gives you a fucking winner's mindset. It doesn't. What gives you a winner's mindset is getting shot at when you're 21-year-old, fucking moving from Manchester with a bin liner full of shit and having to find a way forward. What gets you resilient and out of survival mode is recognising that every single challenge that you've had to overcome to this stage to get to where you are, whether it was drug addiction in my case, 4 years on benefits, being shot at, dad leaving when I said, whatever, right? This is the bit that people want to somehow skip the steps. They want to get to the fucking top. They want to do this Alan Sugar shit. And they go along for 6 weeks on Apprentice. Next thing they've got, they're driving around in Lamborghinis. That is not the real world. This is that Simon Cowell bullshit, the X Factor bullshit, where people, oh yeah, it's a great idea, great idea. You should start a business off. Next thing you start a business off, and Simon Cowell's going, or someone like me saying, listen, it's shit. Well, everyone said who's going to buy it. So what you've got to understand is this whole thing that you're going to do, There is no way skipping the steps. It's going to be long and arduous. And actually, if you don't know where you're going, it's like a GPS. When you get in a car, you go to in your car, anywhere you go, you type in the fucking postcode. Nobody would dream of getting in the car without typing the postcode to go to the destination. But guess what? Every single fucking day you get up and you don't know where the fuck you're going or why you're going. And then you get frustrated when you don't know why you're lost. And this is what happened in life. Business just got easier. I changed my thinking. And you said to me about where did I get this mindset? I got it by realising that the old way that I was doing, driving really fucking fast, metaphorically speaking, wasn't working. All it managed to do is get me to the point where I was depressed. that's not. And yet, I ended up with success. I was ill. Success. I was fucking ill. For what? For money. For money. So I'm deeply unhappy, but I've got a load of money in the bank. How the fuck is that success? So I've managed to get this balancing act now, which is between being fucking double happy. My priority is being happy. My priority is being happy. Not fun. Don't confuse buying a car or getting a new watch. That's fun. Or a handbag. That's fun. Happy. Genuine happy. You get happy and you start making money, then it starts being real. When you make a load of money and you're not happy, that's when it's bullshit. That's when you start doing 6 bottles of champagne, lap dancing, just shit like that.
Can you talk a bit about your daily routine? And can you also cover the topic of abstinence and how that's impacted your life, if that's something that you've experienced?
So my daily routine is every single morning I wake up. I probably about 6:30. Have 2 cups of coffee, and then I do my task every single day. I run a private mentoring club called Now What Club. I do a task every single day based on where my 200 members are. So where I believe they are, what they need to focus on. Every single day, real time, live. That's great because it whirs me up. It gets me thinking. It's fucking great. So I do that every single day. And there's something that I do, which, I've got a lion behind me. And the way that lions work is they just sit on their ass for 23 hours a day. And then when the shit needs to kick off, that's when they start getting involved. That is how I run my world now. Is that actually I effectively do burst working. So I'll do 1 hour of work in the morning, 1 hour of work in the afternoon, and the rest is reactive. So I'll do 1 hour of hardcore fucking work in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon. Lion mode, that's what I go into. And it works really well. So in terms of abstinence, fun is there and it's always got its place. But there comes a point when that fun stops becoming fun. Right, and now you're just doing the motions. My drugs that I got involved in 28, 29, great fun, absolute fucking great fun. Right, I'm not going to pretend they're not. It was great. Would I want my children doing it? No, but good fun, and I wouldn't change a single thing. I also think that it changed the way that I think and view the world, which is very interesting because you think I don't look at it conventionally. I don't look at the world conventionally. So abstinence in terms of tell you what's an interesting one. Since lockdown, I've not been to the gym. I used to go to the gym 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and nothing's changed. And I'm like, oh my God, 4 times a week and nothing's changed. I might have lost a tiny bit of size, but nominal. Nothing's changed. And it's like, it's blew my mind because we're almost, and this goes back to summarizing, that we sometimes get on a hamster wheel, whether it's business, whether it's selling, whether it's this, whether it's that, and we don't know why we're doing it. We just keep fucking running. You're just spinning plates. Why are you spinning plates, Harry? Because I've always done it. Oh, right, okay, I'll spin one with you. Next thing, you're just doing that. You're not sure why you're doing it. So this has been a really reflective time for me. So, when I say abstinence from the gym, once again, reflective time.
It's really interesting. You talk about, I always ask myself whether I'm being a busy fool. Before COVID, I was getting up at 4:30, doing a HIIT workout, getting my motorbike, heading down the Shoreditch, getting there for 6:45 or whatever, work a full day. The idea was to leave at 4, but the clock rolled by to 6, and then I'd be home late and have an hour with my wife, and then but COVID happened. It's like, mate, shit, I can spend more time with my wife, my kids. I can go for walks. I can work out when I want to.
James, let me explain. I've just handed notice in on my office. I've had the office for 9 years. We've been working from home. I'm at home now. All our guys are remote working. I'm going, why am I spending £4,000 a month on an office? That's a lot of memberships you've got to sell to in order to get that. So that's gone. There's a load of changes that have happened here. So this is what I always ask the question. What does this make possible? And what this makes possible, this whole COVID situation is a fresh start. And that's what happened with me and my business. I had to fresh start. It had gone from this, like I say, so many people. When I first moved down from Manchester to Somerset, I spent 5 years being depressed, right? Because the reason I was depressed is I wanted to go back to the way it once was. I wanted to go back to Manchester to all my friends prior to the shooting. And yet I couldn't. It was a world that no longer existed. That is what's happened with this COVID situation. Some people are fucking stupid enough to want to go back to the way it once was. That world is gone. This new world. So when this is all over, this COVID thing, there's going to be a column, and on that column there's going to be losers, big losers, winners, and big winners. I'm intending to be on the winner side of that column. And the reason that I'm going to be on that winner side of that column is because the decisions, when the shit was hitting the fan, I did not fucking hesitate. We moved from an offline to an online model within 3 days. And and people, there's still networks thinking, oh, well, we're going to see what happens. Fucking, I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're going to be out of business. That's what's going to happen. So it was about decisive action. I've got a friend of mine who's an SAS man. He taught me lots of stuff. And he says to me, this is one of the best things he ever taught me. You cannot delegate responsibility. He said, you cannot delegate responsibility. Right now, Brad, leadership-wise, you need to step the fuck up and you need to take control of this situation. And that's what I did. I went onto fucking war mode, literally I talked to my guys, my thousands of members. I put a video out there on Facebook and said, listen, this is the most difficult fucking video I've ever had to do in the history of my company, 14 years. We are on the verge of defeat. We're going to collapse. Depending on what happens over the next few days means whether this business of 14 years and all your friendships and all the contacts goes away or it continues. We're taking it online. People voted towards us with their feet. I had nothing to lose. I went, fuck it, all in. And it's turned around. Business is great. I've got a new managing director heading it up, so I don't have to. She's fabulous, Pippa. So it's for the first time ever, we've now got this, it was me running it as an organisation. We've now got a management team where we've got a lady running it. It's like, wow, that in itself is massive, and it's a more rounded future. Allows me to do this pride working, which is that whole hour a day, 2 hours a day of intensity, whilst I maintained. I burnt out 4 weeks ago. I burnt out, right? And this is a guy who clocks all this shit. I ambushed myself. I didn't even realise because I got myself into this war mode. And what ended up happening after 2.5 months of this, I got this business to where it needed to be. Then I went to have a lie down on a Saturday and I couldn't move. This was 3 weeks ago. I couldn't move. I tried to get up. It was 15 seconds for a 3-second walk to the toilet. I'm like an old man. Like, what the fuck's going on here? And I'm thinking, is it COVID? I'm checking my blood sugars, everything. And what it was burnout. See, we run with it on adrenaline, right? This is why people end up with the tops off outside nightclubs saying, fucking come on, right? It's because adrenaline takes over. You're no longer thinking. You look at the riots. Normal people, when they're not het up, wouldn't be there. But when you het up, it's like, fuck it, right? So this is what's going on. So that, years ago, you'd have a saber-toothed tiger that comes to the village and starts attacking everyone, and the warriors would come out, they'd fight it, and after 30 minutes, that'd be it. I've been in that war zone for 3 months. 3 fucking months. And you imagine driving a supercar with no oil. Whether you drive it slow or whether you drive it fast, you are fucking it up. And what ended up happening is I took a week off in bed, literally in bed for a week. And then I had another week off on holiday when I got myself together. I snuck up on myself. I'd run out of adrenaline. And this is what people don't see. Is right now, normal entrepreneurs are going about, vertical markets, hedge funds, shut the fuck up. There's a bigger fucking thing at play here, which is your mindset. This is your biggest chance of success. This is your biggest chance of failure, your brain. If that goes, that's it, it's all over. So I was running on adrenaline. I collapsed, not collapsed, but a week where I was thinking, have I got cancer? That's how serious this fucking was. And this is the thing, is that at some point, I go to the gym and I lift a weight up that's too heavy. Guess what? Your arm's going to rip, your muscles going to rip. Your brain's the same. It can only take so much. And this whole thing, whereas normally I'd go to the gym, as I just said, and at which point I'd drive for 20 minutes and ring my friends, chat. I'm not going to the gym, so that in itself is a release. That's no longer there. I can't ring my friends because I'm in the house. So now, this whole knock-on effect of everything that is related to COVID, plus you've got all the shit from COVID, plus you've got all the riots going on, plus you've got fucking lockdown, plus you've got finances, plus you've got Rishi Sunak, plus you've got fucking hell. And we wonder why people are struggling. So for someone like me who considers themselves astute when it comes to this, having had a nervous breakdown 8 years ago, it was fascinating when I look back now, 3-4 weeks on, to see, I was literally like fucking Asperger's. My brain was sparking, flashes. fucking bizarre. And this is what I'm trying to say. So if me, who's in that world, who gets it, can cop for this, there's going to be millions of people out there right now that are going to be suffering from this. And this is, why I share my message, to know that it's okay. And actually, at some point, you've got to take your foot off the gas.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. COVID's been such a unexpected sort of challenge that no person, no business realised that they were going to have to face.
I got a friend of mine who's a boxer, professional boxer. If I go punch him in the face, he'll laugh at me. Right? Literally, I could punch him as hard as possible in the face. He'd just laugh at me. He'd punch me once in the nose. I'd be rolling around, blood everywhere. This is what this stuff conditions you for. He's a professional boxer. I asked him the question. I said, how many times have you been punched in the face? He started laughing. He said, 10,000, 100,000, no idea. And I went, serious? He said, yeah. And this is the thing. When you get punched in the face for the first time, it's disorientating. When you get it for the second time, it's less so. And this is what I would say that every single person, if this was just a niche business problem, but it's not, it's a global pandemic. So therefore, it's not just you, we're all in the same fucking boat. But what I'd say to you is, don't allow this time to just be frittered away. Ask yourself this question, throughout this COVID, what have you learned about yourself? Because this is a unique opportunity. In 47 years of my life, I've never had this. None of us have. So don't let this go away. Do not go back to it. If you go back to the same way you was living, going to Shoreditch, getting up and doing the hip, fucking hell, you need your head feeling.
I know, that's ridiculous.
And I seriously.
Someone told me I wasn't normal. Someone told me a few months ago that it wasn't normal behaviour. But for me, that's what I had to do but I didn't.
No, but we end up getting ourselves on that hamster wheel because we are chasing some shit. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine, right? We're at Gaucho's a year ago, having a steak. And he says to me, you got £2 million business. I went, oh, well done, mate. Come from nothing. £2 million business. He said, yeah, I'm going for a £10 million one. All right, okay. Why is that then, Danny? Well, no, mate, I don't. Well, for the nice things in life. No, don't, mate, tell me. Well, the nice, yeah, I get that. You said that twice now. What? Tell me. That'd be fucking cappuccino. Tell me. I said, tell me what a £10 million business would give you that your £2 million one doesn't. And I said, how old's your boy? He said, 5. I said, how long is it going to take you to get a £10 million business? He said, about 10 years. Right. I said, mate, seriously, listen to yourself. You don't even fucking know why you want a £10 million business. You've got no fucking idea. So £9,999,000 isn't right, but 10 million quid is. Oh, what about 998? Is that okay? Or 97? When's the line drawn? We end up getting ourselves in these bullshit numbers, chasing these numbers like a fucking computer game. It's your life. At some point, you're all going to die. Every single fucking person on here is going to die. We're going to be dead. Sorry. 35 minutes fucking closer to death since we started speaking. Yeah, so at some point, I've been to 6 funerals in my life. 3 last year. 3 fucking funerals last year. Right? 56, 63, 42. None of these realised they was going to die a year before. None of them. Nobody ever does. But I'll tell you, if you walk around with a fucking timer in your head, telling you how long you got left in your life, do you reckon you'd be dicking about like you are? Fucking running to fucking Shoreditch to go and fucking run a business. I mean, I don't know. And this is the thing. At some point, I'm 47. I just said to the wife, I said, at some point, I want to get the garden done. Well, I went, fucking listen, I might not be here next fucking year. So when's a good time? And this is the thing. So many of us wait. It's always somebody else that dies. It's always somebody else that gets COVID. And this is the bit that I'm telling you. I speak to people. I spoke at an event fucking 2 years ago. I always remember Aberdeen because I've never been there before. Aberdeen. And the guy came up to me afterwards crying. He goes, go on. He says, I wish I'd listened to you before. I've got an £18 million business. Me and the wife, I've been doing it for 23 years. Me and the wife are going to go on a world cruise. Never got around to it. Been too busy. She died 6 months ago. I'm devastated. I would give every single penny of my money to get her back. People, fucking listen to it. I'm a motivational speaker. I speak at thousands of events. This is what I hear every single day. People are shocked when somebody dies. I only saw them last week. That's what happens when people die. Yeah, you only saw them last week. So it's changed my entire thinking about what is really fucking important in life. And I tell you, it isn't fucking dickhead cars. I've got a dickhead car. And actually, after 3 months, I'd fucking give it back now. But I've got fucking 2 years of a dickhead car left. Because why? Well, to prove they made it. Fucking nonsense, just stupid. But you've got to get your dickhead car to realise that dickhead cars ain't where the future is.
Exactly, and I think this goes back to what we were saying earlier. I mean, it's defining really what success is to you, what will make you truly happy. I mean, you've got all these social media accounts, these self-proclaimed kind of traders, these Instagrammers who are using expensive cars and kind of expensive profiles that claim that they can teach you maybe through like trading, how to get rich quick, tricking people into this mindset that they can help you generate thousands and thousands of pounds through trading, and then that's what will make you happy.
Mate, but I'll tell you something. This is the problem that you've got with today's world. Because I get it, having nice stuff's great. Like, I've got a fucking greatest PC, by the way. I just got it built the other day, games, right? But I get it. I've got an arcade machine. I've got everything. I've got folly. These stuff that I've never dreamed of as a child. But there comes a fucking point. I got a mate of mine with gold fucking taps, £12,000 each. And I said to him, oh, I don't think much of those gold taps. He went to 12 grand. I said, no, you can get platinum ones for 30. I said, mate, you're off your fucking head. I said, your life is fucked wouldn't it be better that you actually didn't go to fucking work and earn that less money so you could... I got another guy, he's got a £8 million fucking townhouse in Mayfair, right? He's excavated the fucking dinghy. He's going through a divorce at the moment. He's excavated the basement and went down there saying, have a look at this, turn the lights on, dink, dink, dink. There's a 40-foot cinema there, red velvet fucking carpet, ticket machine, popcorn machine, all the lights, everything. I said, you know what you need now, Steve? He said, what's that? I said, 38 fucking mates and a good divorce lawyer. You end up chasing this shit. It's got a 40-seat cinema. Who the fuck's ever going to sit in this 40-seat cinema? It looks great at Rightmove, but it's just fucking nonsense. And this is the thing, is that we end up chasing shit that we believe we want, when all we really, really want, any of us, is to be happy and content with who we are in our own skin. And it's simpler than that, because when you've got fucking stupid amounts of money, that's when you start doing daft shit. If you haven't got your happy in order, that is when you start doing shit that you shouldn't be doing. And that's when you start creating problems. Now, don't think that I'm hating on wealth, because I'm not, far from it. But what I'm hating on is wasting time for more wealth when you're not doing anything with the fucking first lot. That's what I'm hating on.
Mm-hmm. I think your comment about your, how you spend your time and this COVID situation, it's a time for reflection. And what are we going to do with our time and how we're going to change our ways? I chatted to a business owner a couple of weeks ago and they said, oh, call me back when things go back to normal. But there's a lot of people, like you said, there's going to be really big losers. It's like I said, the reason I'm calling you is that life ain't going to go back to normal, or well, no one knows.
Unbelievable.
But it's different.
Unbelievable. No, well, I think it's fair to say, at a service station, I went to a service station last week. There is no way in this fucking world I'm opening that door like I once did, right? Service station door, get out of it. Service station toilet, get out of it. So the world is changing, even if that's all that happens. Social distancing, are you going to be keen to give hugs to people once? Networking events when it goes back to real life. I mean, really going to be wanting swapping business cards? Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is completely rewriting, sort of altering the way that we're going to be doing things moving forward. Okay, it's actually going backwards now. When I last saw you speak, which was at the Hampshire Business Show, you touched on the subject of an expert. Now, your definition of an expert is someone who has made all the mistakes in a niche field. Now, for someone like me, who is still starting out in business and has a lot of mistakes to make in the field I'm going into, how can someone like me or similar learn and leverage other people's mistakes and experiences?
Okay, so understand this. This is the thing, right? The reason we don't make decisions is we're scared they're the wrong ones, right? That's the only reason. Because if you knew, I'd give you a magic ring from fucking, Warlock of Firetop Mountain, right? Middle Earth. And this magic ring allows you to make decisions perfectly correct every single time. You wouldn't hesitate on a decision, right? You'd make them. So here's the thing. When it comes to decisions, the reason that people don't make decisions is they're scared they are the wrong ones. Now, the only time you realise whether it's the wrong one or not is after the event. Up until that point, it's the correct decision. No one, including me, goes, I'm going to go make the fucking fuck up today. But occasionally I do. So So the reason we don't make decisions is we're scared of the wrong ones. Let me tell you my management thing. This is Bentley Global use it. And the reason that Bentley Global use it is I taught it them. Me, Brad Burton, the former drug addict. Brad Burton, the guy who got shot at. Brad Burton, the guy, Brad Burton, the guy who's written 4 books, a motivational speaker. So this is how I make decisions. I make a decision. I'm the easiest person in the world to tell to. I'll make it in 24 seconds. If I can't make it in 24 seconds, I'll make it in 24 minutes. If I can't make it in 24 minutes, I'll revisit it in 24 hours. If after 24 hours I can't make it, I've just made a decision, it's not important, next. You look at any negotiation, it's always in that last 10 minutes, it's fucking done. So why the fuck are we having Brexit? Why the fuck did it need to go up to the wire to get it over the line? Bullshit, people will fill in the time. So here's the thing. When it comes to making decisions, the reason we don't make them is we're scared they're the wrong ones. Right. There's no direct correlation between the longer that you take to make a decision and the shorter you take. There's no better thinking because nobody knows till after the event. So if you've got all the data, make a decision. There's the answer. So if you've got all the data, make the decision, right? And this is what I do. So when it comes to making decisions, that's what I do. I move fast. Think about it. We both start here. Where people end up in their life is a direct result of those decisions, right? Whichever way. The faster you can make decisions, the faster you're going to get to where you need to be. That's the reality of it. So when it comes to making decisions, I always ask yourself this question: why wait? What are you waiting for? Because if you're waiting for perfect conditions, you're going to be waiting a very long time. If you're waiting for more data, when is the line that that data is going to be garnered or not? So this is how I make decisions. So what I would say to you is fucking go for it. And if you can live with the downside of any decision, you should 100% go for it. 100%. And this is what I do. So when it comes to most difficult decisions in your life, they're going to come down to 51%, 49%. Let me just reverse up. I got shot at back in 1995, the worst day of my life. The worst day of my life. Best thing that ever fucking happened to me. I owe that gunman a pint. Because if it wasn't for that, there'd be no Brad Burton, the motivational speaker. There'd be no Brad Burton, the author. Brad Burton, my children, my wife, and my arcade machine and my stupid car. That all happened as a result of something so seemingly fucking horrible. So everything happens for a reason, even the shitty stuff. Sometimes it takes 20 years for you to realise what that shitty stuff is and actually how it benefits. But I'm telling you, I'm so glad of the life choices and stuff that's gone my way.
That's a really good message. Peter, I know we're kind of getting close to time. Do you have a question?
You mentioned at the beginning about writing your 5th book, I think you said. Can you just tell us a little bit about that process? And do you enjoy writing? Like, which platform do you enjoy kind of sharing your content on the most? Like, is that online? Is it in book form, or is it kind of in person?
No, book form. So I've written 4, and the 5th one is on its way now. So these are credibility convincers at the very least. At the very least, you know, if you're choosing a motivational speaker and one's got 1 book or you've got one that's got 4, just going to nick it, really, isn't it? So I've got a methodology. Actually, I run my own workshop called Brad Burton Be a Better, Write a Best-Selling Book. So bradburton.biz/write. You can edit that out or edit it in. But I've got a method that I use for my books, a tried and tested method that is so clever and it's just so fucking mind-blowingly intuitive. It takes me 18 months of preparation for a book. What I mean by that is every time I think of something clever, I put it in my Apple Notes. Every time. And then let me show you. This is my latest book. My notes for my latest book. That is the notes for the latest book. So people don't just see, it doesn't just appear. And then what... It's downstairs, she's writing it. I have a methodology anyway. I have a methodology that is worked for every one of my books, which allows me to get the ideas, those stories into workable in a manner which is appropriate. In terms of my books, when I speak, I share stories from the books. When I write, I share stories from my motivational speaking and my life. And this is it's funny because when I went to the careers officer as a 15-year-old, he said, "Oh, you should be a motivational speaker." I said, "No careers officer ever." But the reality is that somewhere along the way, I've created this. I've become the UK's #1 motivational business speaker. And people say, "Brad, how did you become the UK's #1 motivational business speaker?" I just made a website and said the UK's #1 motivational business speaker. And that's when I got to stage. I mean, but then you've got people kicking off saying, "Well, he's not the UK's #1." I say, "Well, who is?" "Well, this person." "Right, okay. Well, we better go to the league table then, the ombudsman." Bullshit. So anyway, joking aside there, Yeah, book writing is a real passion. There comes a point when I've got no option other than to write it. And I'll tell you something, what's really interesting is that when I'm dead, my books will still be living, and they will still be going on the charity shop bins. I just find it fascinating. And I've said to the wife, should anything ever happen to me, I want the kids to read the books, because every lesson that they're going to need in life is in those books. Like, genuinely, about decision-making process, about what they should do in situations. Those answers will be there for them. And that's what I kind of wrote it for them. My fifth book now, what has happened is this lockdown has kind of created this point where I've gone, you know what, fuck it. I need to get this book out. It's an unprecedented time. 3 months ago, I couldn't have written the book, but the lessons that I've learned go back down to that whole adrenaline thing, the tiger, all this kind of stuff. It'd be wasted if I didn't share it.
That's fantastic. That's a really good message. So I know we're kind of out of time now. Is there what bit of advice would you leave our listeners with? If you could give them one bit of advice, what would that be?
Wear a condom. It's one of those decisions that's seemingly so innocuous, but can change everyone's life. And actually, unless you're in the market for babies, wear a condom. So, joking aside, what I'd say is be you, right? Be you. We spend so much time trying to fucking fit in to what the world thinks we should be about business orientations and cultures. Just be you. And if people don't like you for being you, that's okay. There's a big wide world out there of people that will. Because we end up being vanilla versions of ourselves. People said to me, Brad, I can't be a motivational speaker. Why not? You look like a drug dealer. You know, I'm not, by the way, anymore. Right? But we can all change. But, you know, the reality is you can't write a book, Brad. Why not? Well, you can't call it Get Off Your Arse. It's an offensive title. Okay. You won't get it in Waterstones. So I did it. You know, you can't start a business off, Brad. Why not? Well, you've got no working capital. What the fuck's working capital? What do you mean money? Right, okay. You know, every step of the way I've been told that I needed to be someone else. And actually I've proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that being you is enough. And I've stopped comparing your life to other people. Stop comparing your life to other people. Stop going on Instagram and Facebook adverts and believing that fucking clown that's getting out of a Lamborghini is somehow where your future lies. It's not, I promise you. Where your future lies is with you. Is with your fucking Fiat Punto. That's where your future lies, with what you've got. Do not spend time dreaming about bullshit that is never gonna happen. Make sure that your dream is your dream and not some fucking one that's foisted on you by Instagram, by society, by the media. And this is the thing, you know, I had some fucking idiot turn around to me a year and a half ago and say, oh, I've got self-limiting beliefs. Hey, yeah, Andy Robbins has got $300 million of... I couldn't give a fuck what Andy Robbins has got, right? You know, what I'm interested in is what I've got and what I'm interested in. I don't want to be working really fucking hard to go and get more wealth, to buy what? A bigger arcade machine, to buy a dafter car. I'm not interested. I'm quite happy running my clock down, pottering about in Somerset. And I've got self-limiting beliefs. Now, somewhere along the way, somebody could have got stayed there and go, oh, I've got self-limiting beliefs, I need to change. No, you are good enough. You're good enough. You're good enough. Be you. If people don't like you for being you, next.
Well, there you have it. Brad, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, but thank you so much for joining us. You have been absolutely awesome. Thank you all for listening to today's episode of Rocket Pod. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Brad, and if you'd like to follow his journey, check out his website at bradburton.biz. Follow us on social media. It's at WeAreRocketPod. And if you'd like to leave us a review, that would be absolutely awesome. We love hearing your feedback and want to constantly improve the podcast experience for you all. Of course, a huge thank you to our sponsor Flexi, who is the one-stop shop for your subscription management. Download the app from the App Store today. From all of us at RocketPod, have an awesome week and we'll see you next time.